Games coming up. Mahnomen and Minneota next. Let's go back up to Dick.
All right, thanks, Jim. And we're just about ready for the start of the Class C championship. After a dominant performance by Chicago, Alberta in the 9-man game, they get the first championship of the day. Leo Lewis and Dick Bramer upstairs here at the Metrodome, and this Class C championship should really be interesting. We've got two of the dominant teams in this division over the last 7 years, 3 championships in the late 80s for Minneota. Then the two teams took a year off. Actually, Mahnomen didn't take a year off. They lost in the championship game, but now Mahnomen comes in here having won 3 championships in a row.
Yeah, and I think that's a tribute to good coaching, good individuals, and, possibly a good football system in that town. And, I'm interested to see exactly what happens to these great dynasties in state high school football.
I tell you look at the two teams, and they could not be more different. You have Mahnomen, a team that loves to run the ball. They got a huge offensive line, and they like to grind it out. And for Prep Bowl fans who've watched Minneota here for a number of years, they know that Gerhard Might loves to put the ball up in the air. So it'll be an interesting contrast between a pass-oriented offense and a ground control offense.
Yeah, and I always say this is going to be the last game for a lot of individuals out there, some student athletes who are going to have a chance to go out as winners. And when you have that coveted trophy waiting for you to put in your trophy case, you have to sell out and hope for the best.
I thought it was interesting in listening with Jim's interview with Coach Bauman of Mahnomen. He said that he really did not think coming into this year that he had the personnel to defend a championship, yet here they are in the championship game.
Well, it just goes to show you talent isn't everything. You got to have the heart and the ability and the want to get out there and make things happen. And I think both of these teams have earned the right to be here, and it's going to be an interesting game, no doubt.
Well, the pass-oriented offense of Minneota won 3 championships in the late 1980s. Fans will remember Gerhard Might's son Chris engineering 2 championships in the late 1980s. And it should be an interesting matchup between 2 very good football teams and 2 different contests, or 2 different approaches to offensive football. The pass-oriented offense of Minneota and the ground-oriented offense of the Mahnomen Indians. The game is just about ready to start. The two teams are warming up. We want to look back at the 9-man championship. The American Dairy Association's offensive player of the game is Kyle Neitzel, 270 yards rushing. That's a Prep Bowl record, not just a 9-man record, but the Prep Bowl as a whole having a record set in the first game. Neitzel with 270 yards. He'll receive a certificate and cash donation sent to his high school on behalf of your local dairy farmers who remind you milk, it does a body good. And on the other end, Bill Kehoe had a great game, 14 solo tackles, 4 assisted tackles, and likewise he'll receive a certificate and a cash donation sent to his high school on behalf of the local dairy association. So a great performance by the offensive and defensive leaders of the Class 9-man champion Chicago, Alberta Spartans. And the tone for this game, Leo, was really set early on, the first play from scrimmage from the 3-yard line for the Spartans.
Oh, of course. And, a great back always has the vision and the ability to get into the secondary and outdistance his competitors. And unfortunately, it happened early in the game for us as viewers. But, again, we have a good team there.
That is our Jeep Eagle play of the game, and it truly did set the tone for the whole game. Leroy Ostrander had a hard time recovering from the less than 100% physical status of Nate Harrington, and also falling behind so early, and that really broke the game open. And a 35-0 was the final score in our 9-man championship. 5 football champions will be crowned here today at the Metrodome. And Leroy Ostrander losing and taking the runner-up trophy in the 9-man game. Mahnomen and Minneota will square off in the Class C championship. Of course, Leroy Ostrander a year ago was playing Class C football, but they are now in 9-man, and so we have a new entry in the Class C championship. Now, Pepsi has a salute to the winner of the Class 9-man championship. In fact, just making it this far demonstrates a championship effort by both schools. The players, coaches, teachers, parents, and the entire student body should all be congratulated. The Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company considers everyone involved a winner and salutes everyone from the Spartans and the Cardinals. A high school championship effort on both sides of the field. The Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company will donate $100 in the name of each school to the Minnesota State High School League General Scholarship fun. So congratulations to both Chikayo Alberta and Leroy Ostrander. We'll be back with the Class C championship in a moment.
Welcome back to the Metrodome. We're about to get the kickoff underway for the Class C championship. Mahnomen and Minneota will go at it, but right now we're joined by Associate Director of the State High School League, John Bartz, who also happens to be head honcho of the football program here. And we've got a little weather problem. There's a storm. It seems like every year we've got something significant, whether it's around Prep Bowl, the actual Prep Bowl, or, you know, in some of the playoff games. But how's it been today and around today? Have the teams and schools been able to get down here for support?
No, it's been good. We've not had any problem here, obviously, with the field and the stadium. It's conducive to bad weather and inclement weather. Probably the worst or the poorest night we had was the quarterfinals, when we had rain throughout the state, and we played 20 ball games in mud that night. But other than that, it's been a good year.
Now, they had a lot of snow up north. I know Mahnomen, Detroit Lakes, that area. Do you warn schools ahead of time? Say, hey, they could have transportation problems, leave plenty early. I know they stayed in hotels last night. Is that part of the overall package when you're getting ready for Prep Bowl?
No, well, we have materials that we provide for those schools that take that into consideration. But those schools are on their own. They usually have good foresight and do the appropriate thing.
Got any handle on what kind of house we might get here today?
I was hoping for 30, but I don't know. We had 30 the semifinals. We had 15 and 15, so I was hoping 30, but I think we're going to be maybe closer to 24, 25.
Okay, John, thanks as always. We'll look forward to talking to you throughout the day.
Thank you.
Okay, John Bartz, Associate Director of the Minnesota State High School League. Class C football is coming up next. A noon kickoff scheduled for Mahnomen, and Minneota will return to Prep Bowl 12 in just a moment.
You want? The Class C championship just about ready to get started. A couple of 12-1 teams, the dynasties of Class C, meet when we return to the Metrodome in a moment. Welcome back to the Metrodome. Dick Bramer and Jim Gilliland upstairs. We're just about ready for the start of the Class C championship. Let's join public address announcer Dick Stanford.
Minneota, number 73, Eric Alexson. Deep for Mahnomen, number 20, Jason MacArthur, and number 21, Scott Yost.
Eric Alexson set to kick it off. Jason MacArthur and Scott Yost back to receive the kick. Since 1986, either Mahnomen or Minneota has played in this Class C championship game, and now this afternoon, for the first time, they face each other. That is Jason MacArthur. Alexson's high kick away from MacArthur, and Scott Yost will take it, but we have a flag down before we actually get started. And a penalty coming up against the Mahnomen Indians. There is Scott Yost, the leading kick returner for Mahnomen. Excuse me, the penalty against Minneota. Yost averaging 23.4 per kickoff return. And the penalty was against the Mahnomen Indians, so the kickoff will be moved up to the 45-yard line, and Alexson will lace it up one more time. You can see one of the Mahnomen players, the top of your screen, across the 50-yard line. So an offsides against the receiving team. A deeper kick to the corner. And a touchback will bring it out to the 20-yard line. So the Mahnomen Indians will start deep in their own territory.
I think the difference in high school ball, Dick, I was alarmed maybe that the Mahnomen guy didn't go get it, but once you can't return it out of the end zone, can you?
Well, we saw that in the 9-man game as well. So Jeremy Sikora will bring his offense out onto the field, and there is Gerhard Mike. We'll look at the officials for this afternoon's game, the Class C championship. And we have Bill Hare, Bob Zilke, Mike Tock, and John Peterson officiating this game.
Bill Hare does something different in the spring. He's a baseball coach at Greenway Coleraine.
On the first play from scrimmage, the handoff goes to Brent Miller, and he'll go all the way. 80 yards to put the Indians in front.
Well, I don't know what happened, Dick, but it must have been tremendous deception on that play, because there wasn't a Minneota guy within 5 yards of him when he went around the corner. Let's take a look here. The fake dive, and they all bit on it, and Miller was gone.
You got a great look. Matt Mervick, the safety for Minneota, had to look over his left shoulder to find Brent Miller. He was trapped inside, looking inside on the play fake. And our Class C championship gets started for Mahnomen the way the 9-man championship started for Chicago, Alberta. And Kyle, take a look at the extra point try, is up and good for John Littlewolf. An 80-yard run to start the Class C championship for Mahnomen, and it's 7-0. Started to say before the break, Kyle Neitzel's record lasted about 2 hours. The longest Prep Bowl run from scrimmage in game 1 was 77 yards. But Brent Miller broke the record on his first carry of the day.
Well, the other record would be possibly in jeopardy if you look at the ratio type deal here. Brent Miller just by himself. I mean, you probably didn't even need to use his ample speed on that play, although Ken Bauman reminds us he's not as fast as Jason Miller, who had the Prep Bowl single game rushing record until Neitzel's game. So they're off to a great start, and Mahnomen kicks it away.
Sikora kicks it away from the 3-yard line. This is Kevin Fear. Across the 20 to the 25, breaks free and all the way out to the 30-yard line. A nice kick return by Kevin Fear.
We were talking to Ken Bauman before the game, and he was talking about you can't prepare for this type of passing game up in Mahnomen at this time of year. Everything's frozen. You're in the gym in your tennies. And of course that simulates the Prep Bowl surface a little bit, but there's no room to actually spread the field and work on handling this multifaceted passing attack.
Matt Mervick, the quarterback for Minneota. Rolling right. First pass completed to the 40-yard line. The pass goes to Chad Hennon, and one play, one first down. I talked to Gerhard Mite last night, the Minneota head coach, and I said, boy, you look at this offense, you'd think a high-scoring game, and he said he really didn't think so because of Mahnomen's penchant for keeping it on the ground and grinding it out. He thought it would be a low-scoring game, but so far nothing but offense.
And that's what Ken said too. That's what they wanted to do, was grind it out, keep the ball out of Minneota's hands.
Mervick rolls left and throws complete. This time to Kockelman. And another first down for the Minneota Vikings. 2 plays, 2 first downs. Pinned down along the far sideline by Jamie Wark.
One of the keys might be how Mervick holds up under the pressure. He rolls left here, gets the pass away right on the money, but does take a shot. And if they can make him get up slowly a few times, maybe that'll make him not as crisp in his passes.
14-yard pickup. Now a roll right by Mervick. Throws across, complete again. And again to Chad Hennon, this time to the 33, short of first down yardage. But what a start for Matt Mervick.
Again, Mervick picks himself up, and I'm sure that's part of an Mahnomen strategy too, is to make him feel the pressure. But that was a great job. There were a lot of defenders around the receiver on that particular play, and Hennon got it anyway.
2 receptions already. 2nd and 2. Well, they keep it on the ground, and the handoff goes to Neil Hennon. Takes a big pop from Tony Athman. Also, Jamie Wark in on the tackle.
That's a familiar name, Tony Athman. He was the guy in last year's overtime game that raced through, sacked the quarterback, forced a fumble against Mankato Loyola, and preserved the win.
3rd and short. Jamie Fear in motion. The handoff goes to Kevin Fear, and he's got a first down. Kevin and Jason Fear are cousins. Scott and Jason Fear are brothers. There are 4 Fears, and on the back of at least some of the helmets you could see in Minneota, no fear. A little piece of tape with that inscription.
You see they create the deception there and got a big hole. Now
Mervick steps up, but he's wrapped up at the 32-yard line. Brent Miller, who scored the 80-yard touchdown, had a hold of Mervick and wouldn't let go.
That time they did not bite on the fake. They saw the misdirection. You can see the ball on the hip by Mervick, and he's looking downfield, planning his pass, and never has a chance to get it away.
Second 14, second down and 14 for the Minneota Vikings. And off right side to Kevin Fear. Back across the 30 near the original line of scrimmage. Kevin Fear is the speedster on this Minneota team. Their biggest offensive threat out of the backfield. Third down and 9. Rolling right, Mervick in and out of the hands of Chad Hennon along the near sideline. He had enough downfield yardage for a first down had he held on, but the ball falls incomplete, and it's 4th down and 9.
Everything crisp on that play except the catch. He knew where the downs marker was, as you said, Dick. Went down, turned up a yard behind it, and Mervick laid the ball right in there. Hennon couldn't hold it.
4th and 9 for the Vikings, and they'll go for it. Mervick keeps, throws complete, first down yardage, and down to the 12-yard line. It's Dwayne Kockelman. Gerhard Might says they've got 87 different pass patterns, which must really confuse the secondary for, again, a team that is not used to having passes thrown against them.
Well, the other thing about prep football is there's a lot more yardage that is considered 4-down territory because you don't have these field goal kickers who can boom them 50 yards. Hey, that's a 4th and 9. They know they've got to get it, and they pick up 15 on the play.
Boy, Mervick has been right on target here in this first quarter. Rolling right, dumps it off, complete to Fear, cuts inside at the 5 and falls down at the 2-yard line. Jeremy Sikora got just enough of Kevin Fear to keep him from going into the end zone.
And he would have scored had he been able to keep his footing, obviously, because nobody was coming. Fear makes a good move, gets behind the secondary man, and then cuts it back nicely. And yeah, just that arm tackle put him short of the goal line.
Second down and about a foot. Mervick keeps and leans forward. He's got the first down, but shy of the goal line near the 2-yard line.
Yeah, it doesn't look like much of a play. Didn't gain much yardage, but enough for the first down. And they'll have 4 cracks at it from the 2. Closer to the 1, actually.
First and goal as the Minneota Vikings try to tie the game here. They're down early, 7-0. Mervick on the option, cuts inside, touchdown. A pretty impressive drive for the Minneota Vikings after getting burned on the first possession by Mahnomen. And we're an extra point try away from a tie football game.
We'll have to check our Prep Bowl scoring record. The way this one has started out, a touchdown for each team. And they did it in really a fashion that you would think the other team might adopt. Mahnomen with a quick strike, they're thought to be the more grinding team, and Minneota with their finesse game, you would think more capable of striking quickly, and they moved it down the field smartly with a multi-play drive.
Eric Alexson drills it through, and we are indeed tied at 7 with 7:15 left in the first quarter. Well, they didn't have many punts in the 9-man game, and we may not in the Class C game. It looks like this will be an offensive show.
Well, this is terrific, and experience has something to do with this as you look at the respective cities. Mahnomen way up north there, and Minneota to the western, toward the western border of Minnesota. But teams with great football traditions. Mahnomen, the Class C champion the past 3 years. Minneota held it 3 years before that, and they know their way around the Metrodome, either as players or as young men coming in to support those that have gone before them.
Alexson will kick it off. Again, Yost and MacArthur. And again, a deep kick by Alexson. He's shown a very strong leg on his prior kickoff and also on his extra point attempt. Again, it goes into the end zone, and Mahnomen will start from their 20.
Take a look at the touchdown play again with Mervick on the keeper, and really he could have pitched it or run it because the Mahnomen defense was fooled and kind of made a little motion to their right. 12 plays, 70 yards, elapsed time 4:26, and now Mahnomen, who has run just one play from scrimmage and it went 80 yards for a touchdown, has it back
from their 20. Brent Miller scored from the 20 on the first play from scrimmage. And the handoff this time goes to Mason Thompson, and he goes off left tackle and works it out to about the 24-yard line, picks up 4 yards.
Mason Thompson rushed 55 times for 256 yards this year, 2 touchdowns, so he is really the third weapon in the backfield behind Tony Athman and, of course, Brent Miller, whom we saw on the first touchdown run. They're the 3 backs lining up in the T.
A huge offensive line behind which to work as Sikora barks out his signals. And the handoff goes right up the middle across the 25-yard line.
Gerhard Might was worried about that. He said they line up in the T, they tell you what's coming, and they dare you to stop it with that big offensive line of theirs.
Tony Athman, the ball carrier, a pickup of a couple before Jason Fear pinned him down. Brad Lolleman also in on the tackle. 3rd down and 4. Misdirection play, and Miller fighting his way forward near the 30. It appears as if he might be stopped a little bit short.
See though where they're putting it though, the official's foot is over the chalk.
It is. Yep, that would be enough for a first down if that's where they mark the ball, and it is a first down. So Miller hit hard as he got to the 30-yard line, gets the nose of the football over the line for a first down.
We'll take a look. Here's what makes the T formation successful. If you've got those horses, is the deception. The tacklers don't know where to go, and you can see Miller leaning across the chalk, and the official saw that. First down, Mahnomen.
Yeah, good spot by the officials. Miller gets across the 30 and squirts free up near the 40-yard line.
Showed a lot of strength on that play. The strength isn't just in the line.
Broke the tackle of Ryan DeSmet near the line of scrimmage and picked up 9 yards on the play.
Again, Miller belting into the line, breaking a couple of tackles. He got twisted awkwardly there. Looks to be okay.
2nd and a yard. Miller again bumping along the line of scrimmage and falling forward across the 40. Doug Loyson had him by the ankle and led to the tackle, helped by Ryan DeSmet.
Well, this is more what they talked about. Using that clock, they used 3 plays to get the first down, now 2 on this second one, so it's a 5-play drive that hasn't gotten to midfield yet. If Ken Bauman can sustain that, he'd be very pleased.
4:45 left in the first quarter. We're tied at 7 in the Class C championship. Miller works outside. Miller with the run across midfield. 40, 30, 20. His 2nd touchdown of the game. A run of 80 and now a run of 57 yards.
Oh, he's a good-looking back. He said he doesn't have the speed that Jason had 2 years ago, his cousin, that set the prep bowl rushing record. But I don't know. He breaks off tackle. You can see tremendous blocking here, but once he makes that corner, he runs away from these guys. And chugging down the sideline, 57 yards. Look out, Kyle Neitzel. Not only is your longest run from scrimmage in jeopardy, but as we said, he's halfway to that 270 about right now.
Little Wolf tries the extra point, up and good, and the Mahnomen Indians have scored impressively in their 2 possessions to take a 14-7 lead.
.431 to go here, and we haven't punted. We've had plenty of action each team. Mahnomen's had it twice, 2 touchdowns. Minneota's had it 1, and 1 touchdown, and one more look at that touchdown run, the latest one, by Brent Miller. Shook off 1 tackle there, got to the sideline, and he has 145 yards rushing on 4 carries, and we haven't played 8 minutes yet.
If you're Kyle Neitzel, you got to be wondering what's happening here. He sets 2 Prep Bowl records, and the records may not last long. To the 20-yard line, gingerly working his way out to the 29-yard line. That's Kevin Fear, who didn't seem to be in much of a hurry to return that kick. He's trying to find his hole. We have an injured Mahnomen player on the field. It's Pete Sheff. As you look at the scoring drive, again covering 80 yards for the Mahnomen Indians.
Well, it's one of the things. It was interesting to note that run back style of Fear there. He was not in a hurry to take it up there. He had blockers in front of him and looked to be picking a lane, and then was going to try to come with a little burst. But the thing you forget sometimes is that the star players go both ways on these teams, and he may just been still in the recuperative process of chasing Mr. Miller down the sidelines.
Pete Sheff, just 5'5", a senior for the Indians. Try to shake that one off and get ready. Looks like he might have gotten a hip pointer. He's kind of holding his right hip. The Vikings with their 2nd possession. Wait for the injured Mahnomen player to get off the field. Now Matt Mervick is ready and wants to put it up. Throw picked off at the 39-yard line. What an interception. Picking it off was Mason Thompson. Or Scott Yost. Or Jason MacArthur.
Let's give it to Jason on the quick program reference. 145-pound sophomore, and a great athletic play here to get the tip and then bring it in before it came back down on the carpet. And that's the thing about the passing game. It just takes one little tip or flip like that, and the ball goes over as it has there.
Jason MacArthur with the pickoff, and now the Indians start with great field position, already leading 14-7. And off left side, Mason Thompson with a gain of a couple of yards.
As Ken Bauman also said, they had 4 starters back from last year's championship team. Now that seems a little bit preposterous that they could come back, but they've got that kind of program going there. And if you look through the roster now, they don't really have a lot of seniors on this entire squad.
2nd and 8. Hand off up the middle to Tony Athman, and he muscles his way near the 30-yard line. Finally knocked down by Matt Mervick.
Well, the bad part of the T formation from a running back standpoint is you get tagged whether you've got the ball or not, because they're creating all this deception. There's Miller coming behind. Watch him. Boom. He got knocked down hard, and the dive play went for substantial yards.
Jason Fear, the first man there, and Mervick cleaning up on the tackle. 3rd down and 2.
And this is certain 4-down territory for Mahnomen as well.
There goes Miller again. 1st down yardage across the 25. Jason Fear again had to pin him down. And Kevin Fear helping out on the tackle, as well as Matt Mervick.
Well, maybe in the 2-down territory you figure they're going to give it to the dive man, figuring they've got another play, but no. They get it to Miller, and off the tackle he goes for big yards.
A good start to this football game for Brent Miller. 2 touchdowns, a couple of long runs, and the Indians are threatening again. Miller this time strung out along the line of scrimmage. First man there was Jason Fear. Check that. That was Mason Thompson, the running back.
2nd and 10. Now this is more where Minneota wants to keep them, so they don't have 2nd and 5, and then they have to worry about what play is coming with all the clever ball handling that Mahnomen does.
Athman, Thompson, and Miller are the running backs. Miller again on that misdirection play. He takes it down to the 11-yard line. That is similar to, if not identical to, the play that they ran for a long gain a few moments ago and the long touchdown run.
Minneota has to commit so many people to stop the dive that off-tackle play is just open. Miller has been able to seal it off there on the outside. Great job of blocking. And Miller runs the first 6 or 7 yards before anybody can get a hand on him.
Yeah. 1st and 10 from the 11. This is Thompson. Spins his way down to the 6-yard line before he's stopped by Chad Hennon and Jason Fear. Luke DePestel also helping out on the tackle for the Vikings. Pickup of 5 on the play. It's 2nd down and 5. To Miller again. Touchdown.
I don't want to say they can't stop that play, but they haven't stopped it so far. There was no doubt when he got the ball from the quarterback at the 7-yard line that he was going to score. It was that wide open.
So Brent Miller with 3 first-quarter touchdowns.
He just lowers his head and drives people into the end zone. By the time Minneota knows what play is coming, they're back on their heels and can't really commit to making a hit that would push the backwards.
A high snap and a great job by the holder for Mahnomen, Jamie Ward. He reached up to pull down that snap and got it down where Little Wolf had a chance to kick it through, and Little Wolf did his job as well. But boy, what a job Brent Miller's done.
Brent's had a full day's work, licking the lips and resting because he's got to go back out there and play defense. It's not like, you know, he's giving it the old Jim Brown, walk back to the huddle and then charge. He's got to go play D. There's Miller scoring, standing up. 3 touchdowns in the first quarter.
3 touchdowns, and he's gotten into the end zone standing up all 3 times. It is 21-7, Mahnomen.
Well, his cousin Jason has the Prep Bowl record for most touchdowns rushing, and that is 4.
Talking about Kyle Neitzel in our 9-man game, picking up over 2,300 yards on the ground. Brent Miller with over 1,600 yards in 13 games. Low bounding kick taken by Fear. Again, he just jogs to the 20 and leans forward to the 24.
That's the danger of having the passing game off the field for a long time too, is that they, you know, they're not as crisp. The last ball that was thrown, the intercepted ball, was not right on the money as the first few throws were, and it was deflected. Great play in there by MacArthur, but still, you've got to have that repetition to be crisp in the passing game. See what Mervick comes up with on this drive.
Time for one play before the quarter expires. Miller, by the way, already has 171 yards in 1 quarter of play. Mervick hands off, and there's running room up the middle for Neil Hennon. Nice pickup across the 30-yard line. The ball will be marked at the 31, and that's the end of the first quarter. An offensive show as the Mahnomen Indians score with all 3 of their possessions to take the first quarter lead. (21-0). Mahnomen leads it after the first quarter.
KMSP has purchased the broadcast rights to the 1993 Minnesota State High School Prep Bowl. No broadcast, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and account of this copyrighted telecast is permitted without the written authority of KMSP Television or the Minnesota State High School League.
Jim Gilliland and Dick Bramer upstairs for the Class C championship. Gerhardt Might along the Minneota sidelines. 2nd down and 3. The 3rd Minneota Viking possession of this half. Mervick will keep going deep along the sideline and picked off again. Jeremy Sikora cut in front of the intended receiver Chad Hennon and picked it off.
Mervick's upset with himself. I think if he had thrown the ball over, he had a chance for the touchdown even, or at least a big gainer, but he tried to zip it in there and the play was made. You see Mervick rolling to his right and he tries to just zip it past the defender Sikora, but he's in front of the receiver Hennon and picks it off going the other way. The fans are booing a little bit. I don't know if they didn't think he had a foot in bounds. I couldn't quite see, but the play was made. Sikora takes it and they go the other way.
Well, the Mahnomen Indians have not been stopped yet. Now Sikora has just enough time to catch a breath or two. Now he's got to direct the offense. Again, pretty good field position for the Indians. From their own 46-yard line. Miller has it strung out and finally hauled down at the 49. Kevin Fear was there along with Matt Mervick. They did not give Miller much time to run that time, or much room to run.
Holding him to 4 yards is a big achievement so far in this game. 171 yards in the first quarter, and if there is a deficiency in Mr. Miller's overall game, as Ken Bauman said, he doesn't have the breakaway speed, and as that play gets strung out further and further, it works to the defense advantage. But you see the strength of Miller as he's able to pull ahead for 2 yards out of 2 that weren't there.
This is Mason Thompson, and he goes across the 45 close to first down yardage before he's finally pushed back by Kevin Fear.
And they're going to stop the clock to move the chains. And now Minneota very much aware of Miller coming off of the right side of his line, and they get Thompson going the other way. You haven't faced this kind of attack, very difficult to adjust to, particularly for the linemen, because there's pulls and traps one way and then the ball carrier goes the other. As we measure for the first down, but it will be 3rd down if they don't have it, and they do not. You can see just inches to go for a Mahnomen first down.
Well, this certainly you would expect would be a running situation for the Mahnomen Indians. They have not thrown a pass yet in the football game yet. They have 3 scoring drives. Jeremy Sikora, their quarterback, completed just 26 passes over the course of the season.
They've converted both of their previous 3rd down attempts, and they've really, with the yardage they've been chewing up, they haven't been in any critical 3rd downs until now.
3rd and very short. Athman hit at the line, but he falls forward to the 43-yard line, and that will be enough for a Mahnomen first down.
It's a good look at Ken Bauman as he's set to send the next play in. Delivery man is Matt Craker.
No team has won 4 championships in a row in Minnesota high school football.
It would be a remarkable achievement because you're in effect changing over a whole class. The guys who are seniors now were 9th graders when that first one was won.
Athman worms his way across the 40-yard line to about the 39, a pickup of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6.
This is a program that probably doesn't have to go out and invest in the football tennis shoe every year because they can carry them over. We noticed some of the teams when we did stories on Osseo and teams that hadn't been there in a while, their booster club or their athletic department had to go out and make that big purchase. Everybody had to have new footwear.
Fumbled on the snap. Sikora stays with it and tackled as he gets to the near sideline. Jeremy Lazinski got him by the shoe tops and tripped him up, a gain of a couple of yards. It'll be 3rd down. I thought it was interesting in your interview with Ken Bauman. He was very forthright in saying he didn't think his team had the stuff to get to this game.
And with what little they had coming back from last year in terms of experience, they know how to do it up there at Mahnomen.
and a team that obviously got a little bit better every week, and they're playing very good football right now. 3rd down and 3. Thompson fights his way near first down yardage. Doug Loyson put a shoulder into him. Jason Fear also there. And as they get off the pile and mark the ball, they appear to mark it about a yard short. So now this is 4th down yardage with about a yard to go. John Littlewolf, the kicker for Mahnomen, made just one field goal, but boy, was it a big one. In their quarterfinal win over Esco, he kicked a 21-yard field goal with 1:40 left to win the game. This is 4th and short, and they'll go for it. Athman stacked up, and he does not get there. Or did the ball go to? And it did. Mason Thompson, and he appeared to get first down yardage. They had me faked out, and apparently the Minneota defense. And it was Thompson who got the handoff and got down to the 32-yard line.
Well, it's a triple threat position. Now, you wouldn't think so from watching the way you line up in that T, but any one of the men can carry the ball, and that's the deception they count on. They push him back, and Thompson takes it for the first down. 221 yards as a team rushing. And of course, Miller has a big chunk of that. 174 at last count.
There's Miller. Across the 25, they haven't stopped him yet. Down to the 22 and close to another Mahnomen first down.
Well, it's becoming critical for Minneota to get a turnover here now as they're deep backed up against their own goal line, trailing by 2 touchdowns already. They need to make something happen, and of course Mahnomen doesn't want to make that mistake that could put him back in the game. You can see he barely got his hands on that ball and almost got out of there a couple of times, but Miller tucked it in and got 9.
Kevin Fear and Matt Mervick finally hauled him down. 2nd and short. Now Athman gets the call and the first down to the 18-yard line.
What a push that offensive line is giving, though. Big block there by Andy Newman. 6'5", 270, number 73. And that'll move most high school people around.
Brady Van Voren and the rest of the Minneota front line. A tough task here this afternoon, giving up about 30 pounds across the line of scrimmage. Athman finally wrestled down by Brady Van Voren not until he got to the 14-yard line. It'll be 3rd down. Excuse me, 2nd down and 7.
Chad Rogers and Matt Craker, 2 ends, doing the shuttle from Coach Ken Bauman with the play calling.
Miller tries the right end, and they're waiting for him over there. First man there was Doug Loyson. Kevin Fear and Chuck Josephson also in on the tackle.
Not much of a gain at all this time on that play coming off the right side. You can see it's 1 against 3, and it takes that many of them to push Miller back. Now we've got a 3rd and 6. Another critical play for the Minneota defense, but again, they're in 4-down territory.
Two men in the backfield, Athman and Miller.
Sounds like an audible here from Sikora.
Both quarterbacks have the freedom to do it, and the Mahnomen Indians tried to call timeout, but not until the flag flew. And a penalty coming up against Mahnomen with 6:38 left in the first half. With Jim Gillel and Dick Bramer upstairs for the Class C championship. Glad you're with us on Channel 9 for the 2nd of 5 championship games coming your way today. Minneota and Mahnomen, the dynasties of Class C, meeting for the first time in the championship game.
It looks like they got that timeout because they did not walk off any yardage.
The timeout has been charged against Mahnomen, so in fact they did get the timeout in just in time before the penalty. It's 3rd down and 6. The pitch goes to Miller. And he's got 5, maybe 6 Minneota Vikings finally stopping him at the 12 or 13-yard line. Take your pick. Ryan DeSmet, Kevin Fear, a whole bunch of them were there waiting for him.
It's almost as if they were running that play to set up something here on 4th down, because it was a slow developer, a pitch out, which we haven't seen, designed maybe to get the ball over to that right hash mark, pick up what they can. Maybe they can get a first down with the strength of Miller. Now we'll see if they don't come to the wide side here on 4th down.
Leading by 14, no field goal try for Little Wolf.
Wrong again.
Miller off right tackle inside the 10, close, very close to first down yardage. Doug Loyson and Kevin Fear combined to pin him down. And it looks from here as if they're a little bit short.
Oh, big stop for Minneota. The ball has been signaled to be going the other direction. And you don't want to get 3 touchdowns behind, obviously, any team in any situation. But they needed something to give them a lift, because they have not stopped them yet, and they've been stalled on offense by the interceptions.
So the Minneota Vikings do take over, but inside their 10-yard line. Miller has run his total up to 189 yards so far in the first half. 5:51 left in the half with Mahnomen in front. Perhaps a turning point in this first half. Mahnomen finally stopped, getting the ball inside the Minneota 10-yard line. Now the Vikings take over. Matt Mervick has thrown 2 interceptions here in the first half. See how conservative they are deep in their own territory. Not very, and a safety. Tony Athman wrapped up Matt Mervick, and it's 23-7.
Well, that might be worse than giving up a touchdown on defense, because it's just a real morale killer when they come in and pin you that deep. A big loss, safety to boot, then you got to kick the ball away again. So they've been all over the field, and Athman, a la 1992 when he made the big defensive play to save the game in double overtime, roars in, and Mervick, you see, he had to move back to create some room to throw, and Athman just took him down.
An 8-yard sack, 2 points up on the board for the Indians, and it's 23-7. And you look at the scoreboard, 14 points and a high-powered offense for the Vikings. You say they stand a good chance of getting back into this game, but remember this: 13 games for the Mahnomen Indians, and they allow just 75 points. So they're not used to giving up points in bunches. The Vikings will have to kick it away. The defense gets on the board for Mahnomen.
Minneota's only loss of the season was to Canby, and their neighbor by 5 points came back and won by 5 in the section semifinals, and then edged full to 14-12 for the right to get here. So those 2 schools.
High spiraled punt by Chuck Josephson, and the return coming back by Jason MacArthur, and he gets it across midfield up to the 45-yard line. So again, the Indians have very good field position, and that one might have stung Jason MacArthur.
Got a long stride to him, and only a sophomore. I imagine he might be in line for a little running back. Well, he is a running back, so maybe a name we'll see in future Prep Bowl years here.
Minneota's offense has been stifled in the second quarter. An interception on their first play, and on their second play a safety. So officially they've held the ball for 18 seconds in the second quarter. 5:15 left in the first half. The first pass for the Indians. Wide open, caught by Jamie Wark, and he will score.
Well, when you've had that kind of running attack that has not been able to be stopped, you're very vulnerable to the deception there. And boy, was he open. And Sikora laid it right in there.
The play action again, set it up. Fake into the middle.
Fake that to Miller, and somebody's going to have to bite every time, or he'll get a big chunky yardage. And Wark was at least 7-8 yards behind the defense.
So Jeremy Sikora to Jamie Wark for 45 yards and a score. Little Wolf misses wide right. It is 29-7. Mahnomen in front with 5:03 left in the half.
She likes milk and it shows. She's got great muscle tone. She likes milk and it shows. Strong, healthy bones. He likes milk and it shows. Baby, soft skin, bright eyes, a healthy grin. He likes milk and it shows.
Milk does a body good with vitamin A to help keep skin smooth, calcium for strong bones, and protein to help build muscle. When you drink milk, it shows.
She likes milk and it shows. It does a body good.
Yeah, they all look innocent enough until they start ganging up on you. Then you'll be glad you invested in the security of Jeep Grand Cherokee. With full-time four-wheel drive, an optional V8, four-wheel anti-lock brakes, and a driver's side airbag. Because when you're outnumbered millions to one, you need all the help you can get. Now save up to $1,500 on Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo V8.
See your local Jeep and Eagle dealer for the best in automotive sales, service, and value.
That's a story at Class C. 5:03 to go before halftime. Mahnomen with the lead, looking for their 4th straight championship. Tomorrow night at 8, go crime busting with that top cop Elliot Ness. Ness and his elite team of detectives are on the front lines in the battle against organized crime on the Untouchables tomorrow night at 8 here on Minnesota 9.
29-7. The Indians in front. Jeremy Sikora set to kick it off. John Littlewolf does the extra point and field goal kicking for the Indians, and Sikora the kicking off. Fumbled at the 5-yard line. Fear picks it up to the 10, fumbles it again, and the Indians, I think, have fallen on top of it. It is. We'll wait for the official announcement. Mahnomen football. Kevin Fear had all kinds of trouble. He appeared to get confused a little bit with Nathan Poland on the kickoff return and never really got a good handle on the football.
Well, they sure look like state champions in this one. Fear looking for that seam. The other 2 kickoffs or 3 kickoffs had come up the middle, and maybe he was trying to see the blocking pattern before he took his eye off the ball there, and then it was poked out. Trying to catch the number there. It looked like 12 maybe. Jared Schaefer, but somebody poked it loose, and it was recovered in there by Schuveller.
The Indians threatening to break the game open. Vikings have not had much to cheer about. And now a timeout called by the Mahnomen Indians. Ken Bauman trying to become the first coach for the first school to win 4 straight football championships. In 1992, they beat Mankato Loyola 21-13. Jim mentioned it was in 2 overtimes. In 1991, they beat Loyola 42-0. And their first title in this streak came over Becker 27-7. 1 loss on the year to Breckenridge 12-7, and that broke a 44-game winning streak for the Mahnomen Indians.
I think Breckenridge might be Class B. I'm not positive of that, but they played up to have to lose that game. There's a look at the fake and the touchdown pass to Wark from Sirkova just a moment ago, and that put it at 29-7. The extra point was missed wide to the light. Sikora, I should say, and then now they've got the ball back on the 8-yard line. Maybe they were a little unsure of what play had been selected. It doesn't seem to be a good reason for them to examine themselves at this point, because everything they've done has been right on, and Gerhard Might wants to see it change.
Athman muscles his way across the 5-yard line. Luke DePestel got a piece of him. It'll be 2nd down and goal from just inside the 4-yard line. 29-7. The Indians already in front.
More of a power formation here. They just blow it into the end zone. Unbelievable.
Well, the Minneota defense has been on the field for a long time, and although Jason Fear came out of the stack with the football, they give Athman the touchdown.
I mean, he just ran up the backs literally of his own team, and they provided the push to get him into the end zone. And let's take a look and see if Minneota's got a beef about when that ball popped out, but didn't look like it from there. Now they're in there ripping it loose, but it's a little late. Athman into the end zone.
35-7. And Little Wolf will try for another Mahnomen point. This one is between the uprights and good. 36-7. John Little Wolf's been kept pretty busy here in this first half. He has had to try 5 extra point attempts. He's 4 out of 5. And again, he is one of the key players on this Mahnomen march to what may be a Class C championship with that big field goal against Esco in the quarterfinal game. His only field goal of the year from 21 yards and just 1:40 left in the game. And Gerhard Might has not seen his teams over the years fall behind this much this quickly.
Well, Mahnomen, a Class C school, has 6 players that go 260 or better. That's pretty unusual, I would think. Another one, Brian Dahl, is at 240, and he's a sophomore. So
you can see Ken Bauman. He is not pointing up one finger to say his team is number 1. He needs another player on the kickoff team. Special teams have been kept busy for both teams here. A lot of scoring. 6 touchdowns in the half. 5 of them by the Indians.
it's like 4 of those big men graduate this year too, so they did have some stock coming back in the form of the front line.
Run up the middle across the 25. Nathan Poland cut in front of Kevin Fear that time to get it up near the 30, and Poland is a little slow in getting up.
At the end of this game, we're going to pick the American Dairy Association player of the game, offense and defensive, and the play of the game as well for Jeep Eagle. So we have that to look forward to. And we thought it would be cut and dried there for a little while, Mr. Miller, but now they're sharing the wealth. And of course, Minneota's got a half plus to get back in this thing with their explosive attack. So we'll watch and wait and see.
Rolling right, time to throw, and an on target delivery. A first down for the Vikings as Chad Hennon hauled it in across the 40-yard line. Hennon, Matt Mervick's favorite receiver. Dick Davis and Mark Hershkowitz taking the Class C championship off. They're involved with the video production here at the Metrodome. Mervick tries the near side. Again an on-target delivery to Kockelman. And another Minneota first down.
Well, Mahnomen has come. They've been able to get that one guy through in that rush position each time. Let's check and see here as you see 25 coming from the corner and getting in there, but it didn't cause much problem for Mervick on that throw. Andy Goodwin breaking through.
Now the right side. Mervick will keep and fumble the football as he crossed the 45-yard line. And the Indians recover. Andy Newman got the loose ball, and Mervick is slow in getting up once again.
Well, he got hit down low there in one of his wheels, and now he's got to get up and go play defense. And he had a nice little hole there, it looked like, but it closed very quickly. He pulls it down here when he feels the pressure, and then again it was Athman breaking in there, and then you see a clean hit on the ball, and it looked like our friend Andy Goodwin from the play before. And the ball goes over, as Lindsey Nelson used to say.
44 from the 44-yard line. The Indians take control. 2:42 and counting left in this first half. Here's Miller. They have not stopped that play yet, and Miller gets first down yardage across the 45-yard line. It has to be tough. I mean, you can sympathize with the Minneota defense behind that big offensive line. It has to be difficult to see where the handoff is going. You can't see through the guys. You got to try to peek around and see which ball carrier has it.
And the thing that Mahnomen's going to be able to do now with their comfortable lead is rest these guys for a key play or two, because they do go both ways. Now Mason Thompson came out in that particular series.
Scott Yost tries to find some running room and can't. They were waiting for him at the line of scrimmage. Chuck Josephson and Jason Fear for the tackle.
Scott Yost is 5'2", 130. So he'd be tough to see behind that line too.
1:50 left in the half. 36-7 our score. Miller with more running room. He falls forward to the 35. Josephson tripped him up as he got to the 40. He fell forward a couple yards short of first down yardage.
Well, we may see they're 1-for-1 passing here. We may see more passing simply because the clock is winding down under a minute and a half now. And Mahnomen still has 35 yards to go.
Miller cuts inside. First down yardage inside the 30, down to the 27-yard line. And Jason Fear has had a very busy afternoon in the secondary. And one of the reasons the Indians have gotten to this game, they simply wear the defenses out.
You look at Miller leaping, using good vision, hopping over guys when he needs to, cutting it back subtly with a little turn of the hips. And he's pushing 200 yards now.
To the corner, caught inside the 5, touchdown, Jason MacArthur. Socorro with his second touchdown strike, and it's 42-7.
Really a perfectly played football game to this point by Mahnomen. They did give up one long touchdown 12-play drive to Minneota, but that has been their only flinch in the contest. It throws right on the money. Fake pitch. They almost know it's coming because the clock situation and the leap too late. And the touchdown for Jason MacArthur, who had a key interception earlier and is a 10th grader.
Little Wolf's extra point try is good. 43-7 with 51 seconds left in the first half, and Socorro's been doing a lot of celebrating in the first 24 minutes.
Not only for his offensive display, but he had a key interception too. And they have whipped Minneota throughout the first half, 43-7. Miller is at 217 yards and 3 touchdowns. And then those 2 big striking passing plays plus the safety. A lot of accolades to be shared now in that maroon and gold huddle for Kenny Bauman.
We saw Gerhard Might consoling Nate Welsh, who was the defender on the touchdown pass. And now Ken Bauman looking for his 4th straight championship. Gerhard Might is going to retire from the Minneota School District next spring. Been a fixture here in the prep bowls over the last half dozen or so years, and would like to continue on in some coaching capacity. 43-7, Mahnomen comfortably in front. We had a 35-0 game in our opening championship game in the 9-man class. Chicago, Alberta with a win over Leroy Ostrander. Low line drive kick taken by Fear. Kevin Fear to the 20 and hit hard at the 25-yard line. And making the play for the Mahnomen Indians on the special teams, Jared Schaefer. Really popped him good at the 25.
Ken Bauman had a lot of praise for their schedule this year. So they played the conference was very competitive, a lot of even teams. You may not know it by looking at some of their scores, but he felt like they prepared him very well for the playoffs. As you see the latest scoring drive information, 5 plays, 66 yards.
30 seconds left. The Vikings need to get some offense, but they may be better advised to wait until the second half. Played a little conservatively. A handoff up the middle. Good running room right up the gut across midfield. Minneota still has 3 timeouts left. And the clock is stopped with 18 seconds. Nice run up the middle by Neil Hennon.
Well, yeah, it looked like they had in mind what you said, Dick, just to try to plod through there and regroup. But, well, they got a big hole, a huge gain. Got it down over the 50-yard line, and from there they might as well take some shots.
If you throw deep down the field, even if you allow an interception, you'd like to think that you could pin the Indians back somewhere in your own territory, at least out of harm's way. And down by plenty, 36 to be exact. We'll see if they give it a shot or two here just before half.
4 receivers split.
18 seconds left. Time for 3 plays, you would think, with a couple of timeouts left. But again, the handoff goes to Hennon, and he stumbles forward to the 42, 43-yard line. There's another timeout called by Minneota. Randy Quall given credit for the tackle.
Again, thinking there, they might think, no one's thinking they got to throw now, but with those timeouts left, they had time to get a substantial run, at least what they hoped was a substantial run, and still stop the clock.
Gerhard Might came to Minneota from Rothsay, where he coached, among others, Dave Goltz, former Twins and Los Angeles Dodger pitcher.
He's been around this state, even though he grew up and went to school in North Dakota. He was at Rothsay, then all the way down to Lyle near the Iowa border, and then back up to Minneota.
12 seconds left. The Vikings desperately need to take advantage and try to get some more points up on the board here before halftime. But Hennon takes the carry to the 39, and still 1 timeout left. The Vikings will stop the clock with 7 seconds left.
Well, I think they're going for the Hail Mary, and they want it to be on the last play of the half. They don't want to give Mahnomen any more time on the clock, evidently.
Ken Bauman will take a stroll out to the field and talk things over with his defensive unit, trying to avoid being burned on a big pass play on the last play of the half.
We'll watch them all drop back here. MacArthur and Sikora are already crossing the 25. So they're going to have 3 players at least 15 yards from the line of scrimmage when the ball is snapped.
3rd and short, but in effect they're 39 yards away from where they want to be here. Pass, Mervick throwing short, and the clock is stopped with 1 second left, so the Vikings will get 1 more play here.
I tell you, they had a man open in the middle of the field. Had Mervick had time to stop and set his feet so that he could deliver it a little better, he might have gotten in.
The intended receiver was Jason Fear.
He had broken to the middle from the right side.
1 second left. In motion is Kevin Fear. Mervick rolling to his right. Now throwing, and a flag is thrown as the pass is incomplete, and we may have a defensive interference or holding call here based on where the flag is thrown, which may give the Vikings another try here before halftime.
Yeah, the flag was thrown late, and downfield, as you say, Dick, which makes you think that it's nothing against the blockers. Could have been an eligible guy downfield, I suppose, but he hit him right in the butt with the pass. But the problem was it was an ineligible receiver in all likelihood. Mike Lalaman, who was listed as right guard linebacker.
A personal foul. Offsetting penalties. And although there's no time on the clock, the half cannot end on a defensive penalty. So now Minneota will indeed get another play here before the end of the half. Offsetting penalties on the 2 teams.
Where they get in on their quick.
Rolls to the near side. Now he's across the line of scrimmage. He's got to run, and there's not much room there. The first man to hit him, Brent Miller, who's done the yeoman's work offensively and defensively as well. A first half dominated by the Mahnomen Indians as they have opened up a 43-7 lead. The Vikings scored in their first possession, but were stymied after that.
Well, Matt Mervick scratching his head. He's used to vast amount of success, which the Vikings have had all year, and now they're going to have to scramble to make this thing respectable because Mahnomen's got them crushed at this point.
24 minutes away from a record 4th straight state championship in Class C. Let's go down to the field and Andy Skugman.
All right, Dick, I'm standing with Gerhard Might, the coach of Minneota, and coach, you knew that Mahnomen had a strong running game coming in, but did you expect this out of Brent Miller?
Oh, he's a tough back. And, you know, it's David against Goliath, and Goliath so far is having the best of it. But, you know, our kids will hang in there. We'll come back and see what we can do the second half.
Mahnomen seems to be pretty strong passing, too, as well.
Oh, well, they physically manhandle you up front so bad that your secondary is sucked up to play against the run. And that's what you can do. They're just a good football team.
The mistakes that your team made this half seems to, they turned out pretty costly.
Well, I think that you got to credit Mahnomen for that. They just play such tough defense, and they come in hard, and they create those errors. And I don't fault the judgment that Matt's made. He's a good quarterback, and he's giving it the best shot he can. You know, that's the way the high school games go sometimes. That this one isn't over, and we'll come back and give it a good fight.
Coach, what do you say to the players now in the locker room and coming out in the second half?
Keep your heads up and go out and play the game of football. That's what we're here for. And told them, ignore the scoreboard. You don't play for that. You play each down and give it your best shot.
Okay, Coach, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Gerhard Might, the coach of Minneota, he's got to go into the locker room and rally his troops, try to come back and stop Mahnomen from going on to win their 4th straight Class C championship. Let's go back upstairs to Dick and Gilly.
On our Lincoln Mercury Dealers Association scoreboard, Mahnomen in control of things 43-7 here at halftime. In the first game, it was Kyle Neitzel leading the way for Chicago, Alberta to a lopsided win. Now in game 2 of the Class C championship, Brent Miller is having an outstanding football game as the Mahnomen Indians are leading comfortably at halftime over the Minneota Vikings. Let's go back down to the field now and Andy Skugman.
Well, Dick, I'm standing with Mike Miller and Pam Miller, the parents of Brent Miller, and we talked with Kyle Neitzel's grandparents, and they said that they were proud. I understand that so are you.
Oh yeah, very proud. It's all the work of the team that does it. But, I'm not much for words though. So.
How about you, Pam? Tell me about your son. What kind of kid is he?
Oh, he's a very nice young man. He really works hard for football, but he also does give a lot of credit to his teammates. He always talks we as a team, nothing ever I. So we're very proud of that.
And that's taught from the parents too, correct?
Well, I guess so.
What's his plans? What does he have? He's a senior, so where does he plan on going from here?
He really hasn't made any final decisions yet. He's got a lot of different schools he's checked out already, and whatever, we encourage him to go on and continue.
Now he's one touchdown away from tying the Prep Bowl record, 4 touchdowns, rushing touchdowns set by Jason Miller, who is Brent's third cousin. And what is, at least you're keeping it in the family then, correct?
Well, I guess that's what they say.
Well, we wish him luck and thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's go back upstairs to Dick and Gilly.
All right, thanks, Andy. 43-7 our score here at halftime. It will take a great comeback for the Minneota Vikings if they want to get back into it. The Mahnomen Indians 24 minutes away from their 4th straight championship. A Channel 9 news update follows this break.
Now, here's Jim Gilliland with a Prep Bowl memory.
The Class C championship matches Mankato Loyola against Mahnomen for the 2nd consecutive year. Mahnomen in the dark shirts gets a drive early. Brandon Yost takes it off the right side, gets through a huge hole, cuts up field, and is knocked out of bounds on the Crusader 2-yard line. From there, quarterback Rich Hader keeps it and gets into the end zone. The extra point is good. Mahnomen leads it 7-0. Crusaders trailing in the first quarter. Rob Craig's punt is mishandled by the Mahnomen return man, and the white shirts are on it, setting up the Crusaders with great field position. Early in the second quarter, Colin Rogness fakes the run, draws the defenders up, and drops it deep to Andy Kolars, who makes a great leaping catch and outmaneuvers the defenders into the end zone. The kick was good, and the score was tied at 7 apiece. The Crusader rooting section likes it a lot. Third quarter, deep in Mahnomen territory, Pete Matacek takes it in for the score, and the Crusaders look like they might wrest the Class C championship trophy away from Mahnomen. But a key play here, the snap is too high. Quarterback Rogness can't handle it, and it's recovered by Mahnomen. Score 13-7. In the fourth quarter, very late, Jamie Troutner takes it off the left side and gets into the end zone to tie the score at 13 apiece. All Mahnomen needs do is make the extra point to retain their Class C championship. But penetration by Kolars forces the kicker to boot the ball wide, and we are headed for overtime. Neither team scored in the first overtime period. Now in the second overtime, Mahnomen would score. Rich Hader goes off the right side, threats the pass, but cuts it back and scores the touchdown. The extra point good. Mahnomen is strutting and leading 20-13. But the Crusaders would have one last chance. Rogness on a similar play to the one Hader scored on. Rolls to the right side. Can't throw because of the tremendous pressure by Tony Athman. He is sacked and fumbles, and that spells the end of the ball game. Mahnomen, their third consecutive championship, their 39th straight win, as they take the Class C championship for the second straight year. Mankato Loyola runners-up again.
It would not appear that we will have such dramatics here this afternoon. Mahnomen has an impressive 43-7 lead here at halftime. It was a pretty strong offensive showing early in the first half by Brent Miller, who scored on runs of 80 and 57 yards on the first couple of Mahnomen possessions, and they lead comfortably here 43-7. The defense, Jim, I thought also played very well after Minneota's first possession.
Well, they must have done something to deal with the way Minneota was passing the ball in that 12-play drive that enabled them to tie the score. They must have talked about it, because they got a lot more pressure on the quarterback. They didn't enable him to turn and get set. He had those rollouts, but oftentimes you got to really, be in position to set yourself before you throw, and he did not have time after that first drive. They're getting good upfield penetration.
Mahnomen looking for its fourth straight championship. We'll be back with more from the Metrodome right after this message from the Minnesota State High School League. They get a look at the Mahnomen Indians. They are in front in search of their fourth straight championship. And they dominated play, took advantage of some turnovers, and lead here 43-7 after 24 minutes of play. And you lead by that much, you're going to lead in the statistical department as well.
Minneota taking their time coming out of the dressing room. Of course, they had much more to discuss, but you mentioned the statistical domination, and it's fairly complete there. Of course, Minneota has the edge in passing yardage, but those two throws by Mahnomen have been much more effective. Touchdown passes, both of them, on the scores. 282 yards rushing, 217 of which was achieved by Brent Miller, number 37, the primary ball carrier for Minneota. First downs, you wouldn't think would tell that much of the story, but the time of possession is what's startling. And Minneota, I'll bet you 5+ minutes of that 7:39 that they've had the ball were on the first drive, right, the long touchdown drive. Other than that, nothing.
Now, Jeremy Sikora's done a good job handing off, but he's 2 for 2 in the passing department, and as you said, both throws have gone for touchdowns.
And Jeremy's also caught one, and it was thrown by the opposing quarterback. He had an interception on the ball there, thrown by Mervick that really MacArthur had the first interception on the tip play where he tipped it to himself And then Sikora got one, and it just seemed to unravel offensively as well as defensively for Minneota, who looked so good the first time they had the ball.
Well, the Vikings certainly have an uphill battle. Ken Bauman trying to continue his domination of the 90s. The 90 title, 91, 92, and perhaps 1993 Class C title. Heading up to Mahnomen.
Can't hear what they're shouting there. Maybe it's just numbers, but they waited until Minneota got on the field to do this calisthenic, this Loosener thing that Mahnomen's doing. It's their way of rallying before they get going again, and they wanted to make sure the other team saw it for whatever reason.
Talking with Gerhard Might last night, and he said what Ken Bauman mentioned to you during our first championship game, that this Mahnomen team is not team-wise as fast as other teams that they brought down here to the Metrodome, but you'd probably have a hard time convincing the fans who've watched this game, because they've seen some pretty good speed by Brent Miller. Great deception by quarterback Jerry Sikora, hiding a ball on the option.
And there's still room for strength in football. Good old-fashioned bigger than you type of football, which is what Mahnomen is up front, and that has been very revealing. On the one rushing touchdown they got that Miller did not score, the touchdown run by Athman, boy, that was, they just lined Athman up deep in a kind of a power formation with the two other backs between the quarterback and Athman, and they just pushed their way into the end zone with the front line push, and then the quarterback serving as a handing it off, and the other two running backs leading the way for Athman. He just ran up their backs and into the end zone from about 6 yards away.
Kevin Fear deep to receive the kick for the Vikings. Jeremy Sikora pacing it off. So at least the Vikings will start the second half with the football. That was one of the frustrations for Leroy Ostrander in our first game. They were behind big early, wanted to get their hands on the football, but couldn't for about 6 minutes of the third quarter. Fear works his way across the 25 and across the 30 before the pile drives him down. Several Mahnomen players in on the tackle, including Jamie Wark, who has a touchdown reception here in this football game in the first half. Fear just 2 carries, 10 yards. The top rusher in the first half for the Vikings. Hennon with 44 yards over 5 carries, most of those coming just before halftime. Matt Mervick trying to get the offense going, and there's Hennon with a first down carry across the 35 to the 37, pickup of about 4 yards before Andy Newman helps out on the tackle and bringing him down, along with Randy Quall.
I imagine we may see more running from Minneota. They want to control the clock, get some first downs, get some respectability back. I don't expect them to be wide open because that hasn't worked.
Hennon with running room right up the middle, and he gets out to midfield before he's touched and eventually brought down by Brent Miller. Quick hitter up the middle and plenty of running room for Neil Hennon.
Before you can throw, you have to have time to throw, and Minneota hasn't had that, so they need to do something to keep those defensive linemen honest. And the big hole on that play leads to first down yardage into Mahnomen territory.
Quick 15-yard pop. And now Chuck Josephson is nailed after a pickup of about 4 yards. Well, Josephson will head to the sidelines, and Hennon's back in there.
Noticing yourself on the scoreboard can be fun, even if you're behind in the game.
Okay, widen your defense.
2nd and 6. This is Hennon moving the pile forward to about the 42 before Newman and others haul him down. Mason Thompson gets off the pile, and Randy Quall getting up. John Littlewolf coming off the field now for the Mahnomen Indians. Mervick will throw for the first time of the second half. Has his man at the 30. It's caught by Chad Hennon, and he's brought down immediately. Another Minneota first down.
Mervick on target perfectly on that play. He threw when Hennon wasn't even in his break yet. That's what made that play so clean. When he lets go of that ball, Hennon is just starting to make his turn to the outside. First down, Minneota.
Neil Hennon across the 30 to the 26-yard line.
Somewhere in the back of this book, I think we'll find that Hennon name. It's a receiver in there somewhere, because I remember a Hennon being big back in the dominant years for Minneota. There it is. Eric Hennon caught 11 passes in 1987. Got to be related somewhere.
Mervick throws complete to Koppelman, and he's spun down as he gets to the 15-yard line. Jason MacArthur wouldn't let him loose. It's another first down for the Vikings.
There you see the roll to the left side, and Mervick zips it right in there for the first down pickup. Koppelman on the receiving end. That 11 catches is a Prep Bowl record set by Eric Hennon in '87.
Pass complete along the far sideline, fumbled out of bounds, but it's a completion to Kevin Fear inside the 10-yard line. Mason Thompson there defensively for Mahnomen.
Well, Gerhard Might said Mervick is doing a good job, and he is when he has time. He looked off the secondary people, made them think he was going deep that time, and dumped it off for the first down yardage.
Fear in motion. Mervick hands off to Hennon inside the 5-yard line. Nice pickup of about 5 yards. That'll be enough for a first down, brought down by Scott McCollum.
Mahnomen making a switch at defensive tackles now. Little Wolf and McCollum come out. They weigh 265 and 295. Coming in place of them, as you see the replay, 270 and 260. Andy Newman and Randy Quall. So they keep them fresh and grow them large.
Nice drive by the Vikings so far. Mervick will try to finish it off. From the 5, he'll score untouched.
One last pump fake got MacArthur to take a step backward, enabled him to get the corner. He made him think he was going to throw it all the way, and then raced it into the end zone. Good drive by Minneota. Now Mervick, I'm sure this is designed to be a quick flip into the corner there. He sees it's not quite open. Now there's the fake that backed him up one more time, and then he had what he needed to get into the end zone.
A good drive to start the second half, covering just under 3.5 minutes. Two-point conversion try by Hennon is good. Neil Hennon leans across the goal line. So it's 43-15 as the Vikings, as Gerhard Might said, just have to come out and play hard football in the second half, and it worked on their first possession. 43-15 our score with 8:32 left in the third quarter.
Twin Cities Leather and Boot in Blaine, Hopkins, Burnsville, and Woodbury, and the Southtown Center in Bloomington will not be undersold. It's holiday sale time with top quality leather jackets from $69.95, motorcycle jackets from $89.95, fashion and western boots all on sale now. Our holiday clearance, we won't be undersold. Twin Cities Leather and Boot in Blaine, Hopkins, Burnsville, Woodbury, $4.94 in Penn, and the Southtown Center, Bloomington.
So, do you like good, clean fun? Or would you rather play dirty? You can do it all in the classic four-wheel drive Jeep Cherokee Sport. It has a 190 horsepower engine, shift on the fly four-wheel drive, optional four-wheel anti-lock brakes, and air at no extra charge. And with savings like this, Cherokee Sport doesn't play hard to get.
See your local Jeep and Eagle dealer for the best in automotive sales, service, and value.
Prep Bowl 93 continues with the Class C championship game on Minnesota 9.
With Andy Skoogman, Leo Lewis, and Jim Gilliland, Dick Bramer at the Dome. A 35-0 win in our first game for Chicago, Alberta. And now with 8:32 left in the third, the Minneota Vikings try the onside kick. Trailing 43-15. It was Matt Mervick, the quarterback, who struck the ball on the onside kick, but the Mahnomen Indians recovered.
Well, the previous scoring drive, 68 yards in 11 plays. Mervick taking it in for the score. They took 3:28 off the clock, and they've had 2 great-looking drives. Problem is, Mahnomen's had 3, 4, 5, and a safety to go with it. So they've dominated the game, but Minneota, to their credit, going for the championship still. Plenty of time left. They go for the onside kick, hoping to catch him by surprise. Didn't quite get it. Now they got to make a defensive stop.
Jeremy Sikora hands off to Miller. That play so successful for the Indians in the first half, and the Vikings were waiting for it on that play.
We haven't had a kick yet, a punt yet, have we? Dick?
No, I don't believe so. Tackled by Kevin Fear and Jason Fear.
Sometimes that can be a little misleading, as it is here. You know, a couple of turnovers, 3 big turnovers for Minneota, have given Mahnomen field position, and then Minneota hasn't had to punt despite not scoring a lot of points.
Pickup of 2 on the play. It's 2nd and 8. All the way across the 45. First down yardage for Thompson. Make that Miller again, excuse me, 37. Brent Miller with another Mahnomen first down.
And again, it's power football. 2 guys leading, and see, he had 6 yards again before they put a hand on it. Very, very well executed offense by Mahnomen.
A late defensive change by Minneota. Trying to get some fresh troops on the line there. Well, movement in the backfield by Tony Athman will cost Mahnomen 5 yards. And Gerhard Might talked about it in our halftime chat, or with Andy Skugman's halftime chat with him. Now, there's a mismatch along the line of scrimmage, and ultimately in football, that's what decides the game. And Mike was saying last night he felt that Ken Bauman had about a 30-pound advantage across the front line on offense and defense, and it's a tough assignment, especially when your defense is on the field as much as Minneota's defense has been on the field here this afternoon. Miller with running room, stiff arms his way across the 40 to the 35. A little bit short of first down yardage, but a pickup of 13 yards.
Following his blocker well. However, we got a man down for Minneota. Here we'll see Brent Miller one more time. Watch the way he follows Athman, his lead blocker on this play. Cuts it up through the hole. Now he's got his hand on the back and letting Athman clear out another man. And then he makes 2-3 defenders work hard to bring him down.
Sean Vlamick is the injured Minnesota Viking.
Could be a wind problem the way they're treating it here now. And Vlamick is up. Miller's added to his total and is now at 242, closing in on Kyle Neitzel's what appears to be now a short-lived Prep Bowl record rushing of 270 yards.
Set the Prep Bowl record for yards gained in 1 carry on his first carry of the day, 77 yards, and that record only lasted 2 hours as Miller on his first carry in the Class C championship game went 80 yards.
Well, it was 2 years ago when third cousin Jason Miller set the previous record at 252, so maybe Brent's got that in the back of his mind.
2nd and short. Athman right up the middle, gets to the 30-yard line before he's knocked down by Ryan DeSmet. And slow coming off the pile is Kevin Fear. You know, and you talked about it before with these teams, so many players play both ways, but if you're the Minneota defense, a defensive player for Minneota right now, you spend a good part of your time retreating and running backwards. It's kind of hard to have much of anything left when you're playing offense.
Yeah, I noticed. I thought I saw Brent Miller a little bit tired after that long Minneota drive that we just saw to start the half, and now he gets pushed back there for one of the few times in the game. Subtract 1 or 2.
Tackle made by Jason Fear, and as they get off the pile, Luke DePestel as well.
Look at one of the few times penetration in there as they beat the blocker in and knife through to make the stop.
It was DePestel who found some room to get through the seam. Another nice defensive play as Miller's really stacked up the first man there. was Ricky Myrie. He made the first hit behind the line of scrimmage. So back-to-back nice defensive plays by a comparatively undersized defensive line.
Well, maybe they've decided to commit more people to the line of scrimmage, or for whatever reason. They've had very good penetration there on both of those last plays, and Miller's been unable to get started.
Chuck Josephson finished off the tackle. Third down, 16. Sikora to pass along the near sideline and almost intercepted. Triple coverage as the intended receiver was Jason MacArthur.
Same play that went for a touchdown, their second passing touchdown in the second quarter. That time very well defensed. Two men out there with MacArthur. See, Sikora fakes that pitch, and that's supposed to draw somebody up. You can see he's covered by two men. Still almost got it in there.
This is our first punt of the game.
Mahnomen playing some percentages here. If they can pin them deep, takes a while for a short passing game offense to move down the field. And
Jamie Wark will kick it away. Big rush by the Vikings, but a high kick that will land inside the 10 and bound into the end zone. So it will come out to the 20-yard line. Nice kick by Jamie Wark. He almost got the Vikings pinned deep in their own territory. 4:38 left in the third quarter with Mahnomen leading by plenty.
Think about it.
Lee.
You know, this new Mercury Sable's been designed with a great number of standard features. It was also designed with this great number.
Now lease Mercury Sable for just $269 a month for 24 months and enjoy standard features like power driver's seat, cruise control, power windows and locks, dual airbag protection, and available ABS brakes. All just $269 a month.
Looks to me like the numbers are definitely in your favor. Mercury Sable. See your Lincoln Mercury dealer now for the best numbers around.
Mahnomen in control, but Minneota has played well here in the second half. The outset. Hey, mate. Take a trip down under with Paul Hogan. It says that here. I didn't make that up. He knows a croc when he sees one. Crocodile Dundee's coming up on Minnesota 9's primetime movie Monday night at 7.
For Minneota, the handoff goes to Kevin Fear. He's got running room across the 25 up to about the 28-yard line before he's hauled down by Randy Quall. Gerhard Meitz had to run a little bit here in the second half to try to set up the pass.
Well, he had some very positive things to say at halftime, despite what has taken place, or had to up until that time, and it's been very effective here, at least through the first 2/3 of this third quarter. Another good game.
And Neil Hennon again finding a running room through the interior of the Mahnomen defense. And that's enough for a first down. Hennon's having himself a pretty good football game yardage-wise here. Of course, the Mahnomen Indians trying to avoid being burned by the big play here. Are a little less wary of the run at this point. Mervick throws and complete for another Mahnomen first down. A nice sprawling catch along the far sideline by Chad Hennon.
Now they're up waving the pom-poms. This has been a good-looking 8 minutes plus here for Minneota in the second half. Mervick makes him think it's a good block as Athman gets knocked off balance, and he slides it in there for the first down.
Jason Fear just put a shoulder into Athman and shoved him out of the way. Nice block. Hennon finds the going tough. Can't get to midfield.
And Minneota yet racing back to the huddle. They're in a hurry. They still think there's plenty they can get done here.
Big John Littlewolf, no pun intended, along the line making the stop for Mahnomen. Mervick misfires. Intended for Kockelman at the 42-yard line.
We've got a flag down in the area of holding, or
Kevin Fear is clapping as if the penalty might be against Mahnomen. 3:24 left in this third quarter. And a personal foul against Mahnomen.
3-0 is the signal from referee Bill Hare.
That would be Tony Athman, and that might be a little payback to Jason Fear for what happened to play earlier.
Look at him run up to the line of scrimmage now. They had the ball back. They're trying to catch him a little off balance or something here, but they had the huddle way back. He had to sprint up 20 yards to get to the ball.
Get out of breath before the play starts. This is Fear along the right side, cuts inside across the 35 and still going to the 32-yard line before Tony Athman gets him around the ankles.
Fear can pick his way. We've seen him on those kickoff returns where he's just kind of feeling his way along. He did the same thing on that run. He wasn't really running hard, but very clever with his stepping and got some yards out of it.
John Fear is a backup quarterback. Scott Fear, a backup running back. Kevin and Jason are the two who see most of the playing time. Little flip, and that is Jason who has it inside the 25, out of bounds near the 20-yard line. Good enough for another Minneota first down. Been much to cheer about for the Viking fans, but now in the second half their offense is clicking.
A good play here by Mervick. He takes the look downfield first, sees what's open, nothing there, dump it off to Jason, and he breaks a tackle here and gets some extra yards, runs over a man, only the sideline stops him.
Late defensive substitution for Mahnomen. Chad Rogers comes in late. Mervick rolls to his right. With time, he throws in and out of the hands of Chad Hennon at the 10-yard line. Kenny Crane covering defensively for Mahnomen.
Good throw by Mervick. He's now put it up 17 times. Completed 12. 129 yards is the total.
Smiles from the Minneota bench despite the score. Down by 28 points. Hennon with running room near the 15-yard line. John Littlewolf had a piece of him. And also Jamie Warwick.
Good job by the Mahnomen defense closing. It looked like a bigger hole when the play started. And now they're big third down, although I'm sure they'll go for it on fourth if they don't get it here.
Hennon approaching the 100-yard mark, 13 carries, 91 yards. Fear slices inside, 15-10, and hit hard and dumped at the 8-yard line. Mason Thompson hit him hard, but not until Kevin Fear picked up a Minneota first down.
There you see Mervick as they do a good job clearing out, forcing the end of the outside, cracking down there on the interior lineman.
Kenny Crane also helping out on that tackle. Now Mervick rolling to the near side into the end zone, touchdown. Dwayne Kockelman, and Mervick might have hurt his passing hand a little bit there, but Kockelman gets the grab and the touchdown, and the Vikings are 2 for 2 in the second half.
Take a look here. He wanted to go to the far corner in 44. That's Neil Hennon in the middle.
Hennon, excuse me.
Who was a la Eric Hennon, the big 6'3", 208 tight end, running back, and slipped through behind the defense. Carried a couple into the end zone. Another 2-point try.
Mervick being pursued, and he got in. Just covered the pylon. And the Vikings have scored 16 points here in the third quarter. And they are down by, sounds funny to say this, but just 20.
Well, very solid job there, but you could see it would just be natural to let down. But I suppose if you've got that championship timber, you're not used to doing that, and you want to show some pride. They gave up 43 points in the first half, but have clawed their way back, as you say, to within 20, which looks mighty good right now. And watch Mervick go for that corner. If he hits that pylon, that's inbounds, and they get the 2-point conversion.
1:49 left in the third quarter. We might have a football game after all.
After some trial and error, we've come up with a better chicken sub. Presenting Subway's Hot Chicken Barbecue, now made with big chunks of chicken and plenty of Lloyd's secret recipe sauce. Only at Subway.
The Thanksgiving Week Bargain Hunter sale is on now at Freeway Ford. We've drastically discounted every new and used car, truck, and van in our stock. Plus, we made a special purchase of new conversion vans with 5.5% financing, priced from only $16,995. Every vehicle will have Bargain Hunter sale prices. And as a bonus, receive a Minnesota State Lottery ticket just for a test drive. Buy now, get 100 lottery tickets free. You could win up to $7,000. Get the best deals, free lottery tickets, and a chance to win $7,000 only at Freeway Ford.
Well, the Viking fans have something to cheer about. A couple of touchdowns and 2-point conversions.
They've all got 45 on their shirts there, so that's Chuck Josephson. 52nd anniversary, mom and dad. Okay, well, we didn't get the whole thing there, but they are excited now because Minneota has had 2 long TD drives here in the third quarter.
Another onside kick, and it was touched before it covered 10 yards. Jeremy Lazinski caught the ball and tried to place the ball at midfield, but the officials would have none of that, and the Indians will take over with very good field position.
Well, they're coming after him, still figuring that 20 points is too far down, even with over a quarter to play, unless you get a break or two, so they're trying to make it with the onside kick. 80 yards after the punt that went into the end zone, and it only took them 249. Lots of snappy pass routes, some good running by Hennon. Now Mahnomen could use a drive to change the momentum back.
Jeremy Sikora brings them up. Miller bouncing his way near the 40-yard line. He gets to the 40 for a pickup of about 8 yards before he's finally anchored by Jason Fear.
The old bread and butter there off the right tackle, where Miller has made most of his chunks today. Still can't figure out how that first play went 80 yards so cleanly.
2nd down and 2. Athman with a lot of running room inside the 30-yard line. Matt Mervick put a shoulder into him and took the punishment as Athman just bowled over him and rambled on for another 7-8 yards.
Well, this is the point on the field about where Minneota made their stand on Mahnomen's last possession. As you see, Athman lower and boom through. He's got to be burning a little bit. He had that personal foul penalty, which really aided Minneota's drive on the previous possession.
Athman had an Achilles tendon injury earlier this year. Played only defense for 3 games, but still racked up some pretty impressive yardage. He picks up a few more there inside the 25-yard line down to the 24. We say defending champs, and that's what they are, but as Jim mentioned before, returning only 4 starters from their championship team of 1 year ago. 10 seconds left in the quarter. Fumble. And covered, I believe, by the Indians. Yes, they have kept the ball as Miller lost it in the backfield, but fell on top of it at the 27-yard line. That's the one thing that could really pick up the Minneota Vikings if they could take advantage of a turnover and get a quick score here.
They almost had it there. Now we'll walk to the other end of the field with the end of the third period.
And Mahnomen leading 43-23. It was a lopsided score at halftime. The third quarter provided some highlights for Minneota. It's less lopsided. 12 minutes left to play before we start the fourth quarter. Let's go down on the field and Andy Skugman.
All right, Dick, I'm standing with two young guys who have a major job here. What are your names? Tell me where you're from.
I'm Jeff Buck, and I'm from Apple Valley.
Jeff Flugan, I'm from Apple Valley, too. How'd you get this job, ball boys?
A friend of ours from Apple Valley got us this job, and we've been doing it for the last 3-4 years.
What type of training do you have to go through?
Not much. Just run around. Just run when the ball goes outside the hashes and just bring the ball into the ref.
Well, you guys are doing a fine job. Thanks a lot. Keep it up. All right, let's go back upstairs. Dick?
Thanks, Andy. Again, proving it's always who you know, isn't it?
I wonder if they're going to have neutral ball boys in the final game tonight when Apple Valley takes on Rochester John Marshall.
Well, the Apple Valley fellas there, and Rochester John Marshall wants to kick it. You think they might have a deflated football or something? 4th down, 6 to go. And if the Vikings can hold here, well, flag thrown now, and going to have a delay call against Mahnomen. And we'll see if they choose to try to punt the ball, even though the line of scrimmage still would be inside the 30-yard line. Maybe the 5-yard difference would change their approach here, but apparently not.
It looks like they're changing the play at least, because Craker is coming in on the shuttle and Chad Rogers goes back out. 85 and 82 alternating with the messages from that man, Ken Bauman, one of the most successful football coaches in prep history in Minnesota.
Whatever chances the Vikings have may rest on this play, a 4th and 11. Miller won't get nearly enough. He gets to the 23, but the Vikings will take over with 11:07 left in the 4th quarter and 20 points to make up.
Well, Bauman's going with the philosophy that with the big lead still, that they're going to be able to at least pin them deep and make them take a while to go to the length of the field.
Minneota scored twice in the second half. They'll try again when we return.
Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to Bakersville?
Sure. Take 23 north to M34 east to I-14 south, and you're there.
Thanks.
You bet.
Excuse me, can you tell me how to get to Bakersville?
Head right over those mountains.
Thanks.
See your local Jeep and Eagle dealer for the best in automotive sales, service, and value.
Don't even think about it.
Please. It was 43-7 at halftime. The Vikings scored twice, got a couple of 2-point conversions, now have the football. They were 2 for 2 in possessions in the 3rd quarter. They scored on their only 2 possessions. Now their 3rd possession. And a handoff to Hennon. Running room all the way out to the 37. Finally, Mason Thompson stuck a shoulder into him and knocked him down. But Hennon has had running room, and he now, I believe, has gone over the 100-yard mark.
Part of what's happening here is that the secondary people from Mahnomen have to play off respecting the pass, so that if you get through the line and handle the block on the linebacker, Hennon's got a lot of room. Oh.
In and out of the hands of Chad Hennon. He stopped at midfield and came back for the ball, and kind of a wobbly pass by Mervick, but I'm sure that Chad Hennon would tell you he probably should have held on to that ball.
Got right to him through traffic into Chad Hennon's hands. He couldn't hold it. 2nd and 10.
13 carries, 104 yards now for Neil Hennon. And there he is again across the 40, a pickup of only 4 yards before Tony Athman wraps him up.
Boy, that particular running play has been very effective, keeping them off balance. Not only that, picking up a lot of yards, as we've mentioned. Hennon's over 100 yards now, but just got a toehold on him there, or it would have been 3rd and 3 instead of 3rd and 7.
And it is 3rd down and 6. Mervick's swing pass complete to Fear. Across the 45, he leans forward and I think has enough for the first down. A great second effort by Jason Fear.
He was on his way down and managed to just keep an extra half step of balance there. That enabled him to get the corner. Jason Fear built very solidly. Good center of gravity there. First down, Minneota.
10:15 left in the fourth quarter. Matt Mervick looking toward the sideline. He has the freedom to call his own plays or call audibles at the line of scrimmage. Hennon gets to midfield, and that's it. Little Wolf hit him first.
Yeah, I think he made a big clever signal there, like it's going to hold up 6 or 7 fingers and switch it a couple of times, make him think you're going to throw and try to just dart him through the middle again, but they were ready that time.
Brent Miller's been the offensive star here in this game. Second down and 8. And then with running room, jumping across to the 43-yard line, a little bit short of first down yardage, but another strong run by Neil Hennon.
Well, they're really worked up now, the Minneota rooting section. Things have gotten clicking here.
Third and a yard. Mervick keeps and gets a first down and gets out of bounds inside the 40-yard line. Mervick is an outstanding passer, but he's shown the ability to get to the outside on a couple of runs this afternoon as well.
Very quick feet, and of course getting out of bounds stops the clock, which will become critical if Minneota is going to get all the way back and win the game. Now they're within 3 touchdowns and knocking on the door again.
9:02 left. Mervick with a little swing pass complete to Kevin Fear. Fear trying to get out of bounds, and he can't get out of bounds. He does get inside the 30 for another first down, or close to it.
Athman took a shot. He's slow getting up for Mahnomen back on the 40-yard line. Now just officials telling him to stay down until he's ready. And
that's Brent
Miller.
Miller.
It is Brent Miller. 3-7, not 3-0. You'll see Miller there. He comes up and gets knocked on the block, crackback block. He was hit high, so it isn't his legs, but he's coming off the field slowly now.
That was Jason Fear who leveled Brent Miller.
I'll tell you, Jason Fear's a good football player.
The forward progress is marked at just inside the 30-yard line, about a yard short of a first down. But again, Kevin Fear did not get out of bounds, so the injury here does stop the clock, and the Vikings get a little bit of a break. Now the clock starts again. Mervick keeps, throws across the middle. Hennon's there inside the 10-yard line. Finally knocked down by Jeremy Sikora, and the Vikings are on the march.
Well, they're clicking now. In fact, he could have thrown the ball long to Chad Hennon on the other side because he had pump faked, and the maroon shirts came up. Hennon was breaking down the sidelines, but Hennon, the other Hennon, was open in the middle and took the reception there.
8:25 left. First and goal, Minneota. Fear spins his way right into the arms of Randy Quall. A gain of maybe a yard. Kevin Fear stopped after a gain of 1 yard.
This has turned out to be a very entertaining second half because it looked like Mahnomen just, well, they were so dominant, and they haven't been able to do it against Minneota here in the third quarter.
Hennon cut down at the 10-yard line. Great defensive charge by Jamie Ward. And that was Kevin Fear, the ball carrier, who was knocked down as he got to the line of scrimmage.
Kevin's getting a bit nicked up. He's been tagged a couple of times. 6 foot, 182 pounder. Oof. Got his feet swept right out from under him there.
Third and goal from the 9. A lateral pass complete to Fear, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 10. The clock stops with 7:18 left, and it will be 4th and goal from near the 10-yard line.
Well, that play only works if you can get the majority of the defense to think the play's going somewhere else. And that time they set it up a little too quickly. Fear was out there with a lot of company.
And again, whatever chance the Vikings have of coming back completely in this game rests on this play. Mervick will try to run it. Fumbles the football. Picked up by Fear, and now he's snowed under at the 10-yard line.
Well, really not a bad play by Mervick. I think he intentionally let that ball go, knowing I'm not going to get in the end zone. It's 4th down. And it rolled over, got to Fear. He was nailed, and the ball goes over on downs. Let's see if we can see Mervick. He knows now it's 4th down, that if they do not get a touchdown, Mahnomen's going to get the ball anyway. He takes it himself, tries to run through this alley. And there, as he's going down, yeah, he flips it out himself. And Fear picks it up, but of course can't make any headway.
Mervick slow in getting up. He's still down on the floor here at the Metrodome at the 10-yard line. 7:06 left in the 4th quarter. The Mahnomen defense stops the Minneota Vikings at the 10-yard line and take over the football on down. Jim Gilliland and Dick Bramer upstairs. Andy Skoogman downstairs. Leo Lewis taking this game off. He'll be back for the Class B championship game. Another defending champion getting set to defend its title, St. Cloud Cathedral, coming up after this game. This is Miller crashing across the 15-yard line. Brent Miller continues to pile up the yardage, and a pickup of about 7 yards on that carry.
Well, Miller looked a bit shaken up on a defensive series there. He had to come off the field. And now he's back in there.
6.5 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. 259 yards for Miller on the afternoon, and he'll get more here. Excuse me, this is the fullback, Tony Athman, across the 25 to the 27. 1st down.
These guys are durable because Athman got banged up too on that last Minneota possession. And as we say, though, the good athletes, the best athletes, go both ways at this level of football. And Athman cranks it up the middle, does a nice job there, keeping his head up and finding the hole.
1st and 10. Here's Miller. All the way out to the 35, a pickup of 8 more.
Well, if he had gotten that corner, we would have had the Prep Bowl record. He's advancing now. We have him right now on officially 259 before that play. Miller takes it off the right side, and that's been open most of the day. Last series, Minneota did a good job defending it, but now Mahnomen's got their horses back, filling those gaps.
26 carries, 265 yards for Brent Miller. Over 10 yards a carry. Athman falls over the pile and the 35-yard line, a little bit short of 1st down yardage. Making the play, Ryan DeSmet for Minneota.
Now, if you're a Minneota fan, this is 3rd down and very critical, although they don't have very far to go. Just looks like about a foot. If you can hold them here, they'd almost have to punt because they're deep in their own territory.
There's Miller jumping across the line of scrimmage, spinning free, still on his feet, across midfield, finally brought down by Sean Vlamick.
Big 1st down, clock keeps rolling, and big record coming. So barring any losses here, it's going to be Brent Miller in the record book now at 282. Breaking Kyle Neitzel's mark set just one game ago of 270 yards. In fairness to Neitzel, he only played 3 quarters because they had the game well in hand, and it looked like Miller might have to come out too because Mahnomen had it all their way through the 1st half, but the run by Minneota, and Mahnomen has to go with their top guns to make sure they get this game in hand.
Athman picked up a couple on a 1st down carry to the 47. 4:15 left. The Mahnomen Indians trying to run out the clock on their way to their 4th straight championship. And Miller keeps on running, and it takes a whole bunch of Minneota Vikings to drag him down. Jeremy Lazinski was the first man there. The Prep Bowl team record for rushing yardage has been set by Mahnomen, 378 yards.
Wouldn't be surprised if they broke their own record there. Let's see. Most rushing yardage, rushing attempts. I will research it. We'll find it as they crack close to a first down.
And again, Miller gets the call. Well, the scouting report on Brent Miller was accurate. A hard runner, good speed, and 80 yards on his first run of the day. Got Mahnomen off to a good start. And even though the Minneota Vikings came back to tie the game 7-7, 10 yards a pop for Brent Miller.
And they did break their own record. They shared the record actually with Albany. Mahnomen had 262 yards 2 years ago in the Jason Miller year, and Albany had that same total in 86. 362, I should say, is the team total.
Athman crashes across the 30-yard line. Finally knocked down by Vlamic and Chad Hennon. Athman, a hard runner. And he has had a good afternoon, too. His afternoon's been overshadowed a little bit by Miller, but Athman's run well here this afternoon, too.
He must be up near 100. Athman leaping the tackler and then putting his head down, getting the extra yards. 71 yards is our total for Athman.
Less than 3 minutes to go. No running room there, but look at the determination by Jamie Wark. Wark popped pretty hard at the line of scrimmage, but he didn't want to go down. Three championships yet to be played here today. And we hope you can be with us as a full day of football continues here on Prep Bowl 12. Hit at the line of scrimmage, but still going up near the 20-yard line. Miller on that play that has really befuddled the Minneota defense here this afternoon.
Pushing close to that 300 total.
Gerhard Might, as we mentioned, retiring from the Minneota school system this year, said that he would like to continue on in coaching in some capacity. Miller tries to knife his way inside the 20. He doesn't get there as he was hit hard by Doug Loyson.
Fourth down. And they've got a good yard and a half to go, close to 2 yards. But of course, it's 4 down territory, and that's the way to keep the clock moving, is make first downs. And
31 carries, 297 yards for Miller. We'll see if he gets the call here on 4th and short. See whether he can get over the 300-yard mark. He jumps to the 300-yard mark, comes close to first down yardage. And we'll see where they spot the ball.
Game, set, and match if it is a first down.
Yeah. Chad Rogers getting some coaching from Ken Bauman, checking into the game, and it is a first down. Officially a 2-yard pickup. So Miller now has 299 yards on the ground.
And with the clock under a minute, no one's going to let that be the total. And now Minneota's going to stop the clock. So now you might see the other guys come with a running play.
Well, the comeback will come apparently about 20 points short, if not right on the nose 20 points short. But you have to tip your hat, no pun intended, with Gerhard Might on the sideline. But what a great comeback by Minneota to score a couple of times in the third quarter and make the fourth quarter interesting. We'll take a break and be back with more from the Dome in a moment. Gerhard Meitz said at halftime his team would come out and play hard down for down, and they have done that. Mahnomen's not scored in the second half, so Minneota has won the second half.
Now they've taken it away from them, and of course Mahnomen, to be fair, has played it a bit conservatively with that huge lead. We'll see if they hand it off here.
Athman stopped, tried to get started again, but couldn't. And we'll see if Minneota takes another timeout here.
Coach signaled timeout, but the clock took a few seconds. I don't think they started it right at the start of the play.
You never concede defeat, I guess, even when it is inevitable. And a lot of the starters coming out for Mahnomen. And the coach goes out to the huddle. What a great year for the Mahnomen Indians in what many thought would be a rebuilding year. They find themselves in the championship game in their class for the 5th straight year, and they're going to win it for the 4th straight year.
Well, it's a tribute to their seniors, who were the ones who wouldn't hear of this being a rebuilding year or what have you. And, Brent Miller among those playing in their last game here today for Mahnomen. Chad Rogers, Matt Craker, the two that are alternating, Scott McCullum, John Littlewolf, of course, the place kicker who does double duty as a lineman, Randy Quall, Andy Newman.
You imagine being a senior and through 4 years of football losing one football game.
And of course Tony Athman, can't forget him either.
The only loss during that 4-year span, the loss to Breckenridge earlier this year. Third down carry. Getting it to the 15-yard line.
And Jeremy Sikorilets. He's the quarterback.
Right.
Goes both ways.
Mike Hayter got the call on that carry.
Hayter's a name that's gone before in Mahnomen lore, too. I remember that name. Quarterback in there now is Kenny Crane, 6'2" junior. And Minneota's taking their final timeout with 27 seconds to go. Mahnomen can effectively end the game by gaining 7 yards on this play because they cannot stop the clock with the timeout any longer.
You get a look at the Mahnomen sideline and you get close hand evidence of how big this Mahnomen team is.
Kenny's over there looking. He's watching out for the Gatorade bucket or something now here.
Chad Chevalier for Mahnomen along the sideline. And you get a look at backup quarterback Kenny Crane. Crane, a starter on defense, getting a chance to play some offense here in the last minute of the season.
Right up the middle, no first down, so Minneota will get the ball back here on the change of possession. The clock stops with 22 seconds to go.
Mike Hayter again got the call, number 35. So the Minneota Vikings will have one more opportunity, depending on whether they have an incompletion or two. 22 seconds left. May be able to get a series of plays off here. And Nate Welch, the backup quarterback, will try to generate some offense here with 22 seconds left. (43-23), 406 yards rushing for Mahnomen. Running to the near sideline, Josephson gets out of bounds at the 30-yard line with 6 seconds left. Time enough for one more play. Chuck Josephson's done a good job on defense for Minneota, and it's a carry for a first down here.
Now getting that ball to the sideline means one more play, as you say, Dick, and Minneota bravely battled, kept Mahnomen off the scoreboard for the entire second half.
Nate Welch will run it, and he gets to the 40, fumbles, it goes out of bounds, but time has expired, and Mahnomen has won 4 straight Class C championships. Ken Bauman's rather modest expectations for this season, whether of the four, this one might not be enjoyed the most.
Well, I'm sure Ken will have a lot to say to Andy Skoogman. We hope to corral him here after the awards ceremony, and the new Prep Bowl rush record holder as well, Brent Miller. The proud tradition of Mahnomen football continues 4 consecutive years, and Gerhard might no stranger to the championship either. He won 3 straight at Minneota. The outgoing superintendent and choir and band leader and all of that, and keeping that football for one more year and maybe beyond. We don't know yet. Prep Bowl traditional handshake. We'll have the award ceremony, then get the stage set for Zambroda Mazeppa against St. Cloud Cathedral.
Chicago, Alberta, the 9-man champions, and now Mahnomen, as they've done the last 3 years, they win the championship in Class C. And as Ken Bauman told you, the fans had to deal with some icy roads, as just about everybody has had to do in the Minnesota region over the last couple of days. But the fans who came certainly had a happy conclusion to their journey to the Twin Cities once again. For the 5th year, they make it to this game, and for the 4th year in a row, the Class C championship goes to the Mahnomen Indians.
Well, you know, you get that maroon and gold color. You got 4 consecutive championships, a dominant team in the Dome. That's what we've been looking for a long time, and it's Mahnomen.
Dave Stead on the field and Dick Stanford in the PA booth.
Come forward for the trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now recognize the Class C champion for 1993, Mahnomen High School. Prior to that, we will recognize Brent Miller, who with 32 carries and 299 yards has set a new Prep Bowl record for most yards rushing in a football game in the Prep Bowl. And Mahnomen High School has set a team record 415 yards rushing. The presentation of the trophies and gold medal completed. Mahnomen High School 1993 Class C champions in Prep Bowl.
Let the record show that the Mahnomen Indians did not score in the second half, but let it also show they didn't need to, because a dominant first half gave them such a large margin that they could, as you say, play rather conservatively and somewhat coast to a win here this afternoon.
Kenny Bauman's got that stride going. He's worked the basketball tournament many times and whipped this program into shape as well, as they are dominant side, winning it going away 43-23.
What a remarkable group of seniors to help take 4 teams to state championships consecutively. Andy Skoogman's downstairs. Andy?
I'm with Ken Bauman down here. On the field, you can see his players holding up the trophy. That is number 4. The 4th straight time has to be a great feeling.
It is. It's, you know, especially from where we started early in the year, to be here and to achieve this is just a tremendous accomplishment on the part of our kids. A lot of hard work and determination and luck and staying healthy. Into a great year.
Yeah. Is this victory any sweeter than the last 3?
That's hard to say. They're all great. Just so happy for this bunch of seniors and the leadership that they provided us in our program. It is very special.
Not that you needed to score any points in the second half, but tell me what happened.
Well, we knew. I think the whole key was their 4 turnovers in the first half, and we capitalized on all of them. We knew they'd come back, and we knew their offense was very explosive. We didn't execute quite as well offensively on some third down situations in the second half, but other than that, you know, hats off to them. they came back and played super second half.
It helps a coach when he has a player like Brent Miller. Talk about his performance.
Well, Brent ran very hard, and we expect him to carry the ball. But an awful lot of credit has to go to that offensive line and his lead backs, Tony Athman and Mason Thompson. Those yards were as a result of their work.
What about next year? Do we see number 5?
We won't even think about it.
All right, Ken. Thank you very much. All right, let's go back upstairs.
Okay, 20-point win for Mahnomen this year. Much easier than last time when they had to go through 2 overtimes to beat Mankato Loyola for their 3rd straight championship. Nevertheless, they win it here 43-23. We'll be back with more from the Metrodome in a moment. On the Lincoln Mercury Dealers Association scoreboard, it's a 20-point win for Mahnomen, 43-7 at halftime. Minneota did a nice job coming back in the second half, but too much of a deficit to make up in just 24 minutes of football. And the tone for this game, as it was in the 9-man championship game, set on one of the first plays offensively of this game.
Minneota was able to get back in it, but make a good showing in the second half, but they were not able to get close enough. Mahnomen with that grinding power and offensive front that gave them trouble. 43-23, you say the final. Now it's time to take a look at our play of the game, and we couldn't have picked one that was more demonstrative of how things would go in that first half. Oh, we're going to do the player first before the play. All right, the offensive player of the game. Well, hey, this is a no-brainer, as it was in the first game. Brent Miller, number 37 in the dark shirt, had 299 yards rushing to establish a new Prep Bowl record. Broke Kyle Neitzel's set in the first game, so he is our offensive player of the game.
And American Dairy Association will present a certificate and cash donation sent to the high school in Mahnomen in honor of both Miller and the defensive player.
That's Mason Thompson, who had 11 tackles, 7 of them solo, doubled as a ball carrier as well, number 27. So it's not the same person, but there were many Mahnomen players playing excellently out there and contributing to their dominant performance there, and also a cash donation in Mason's name made to Mahnomen. The American Dairy Association is the sponsor, reminding you that milk does a body good.
Now the play of the game, and it came very early in the game, an 80-yard romp by Miller.
And this was just so cleanly handled. The whole Minneota defense committing to stopping that dive, and you can see Sikora, the quarterback, he knows that Miller is gone around the outside with the ball, and 80 yards for the touchdown. And Mahnomen was the dominant team in the first half, really controlling things, getting 43 points, and they started off with that big 80-yard play for Brent Miller.
And that was our Jeep Eagle play of this Class C championship game. So Mahnomen wins their 4th straight championship, and they, of course, will try to win number 5. But as Ken Bauman said, I don't even want to think about that. 4 in a row in a year when he thought he might have to rebuild his football team is pretty remarkable. And Pepsi would like to salute the Class C participants here this afternoon. Mahnomen the winner, and Minneota the runner-up team. Just making it this far demonstrates a championship effort by both schools. The players, coaches, teachers, parents, and the entire student body should all be congratulated. The Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company considers everyone involved a winner and salutes everyone from Mahnomen and Minneota on their championship effort. The Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company will donate $100 in the name of each school to the Minnesota State High School League General Scholarship Fund. 2 games that were not very close. Chicago, Alberta, the 9-man champion, and in the Class C championship, Mahnomen winning rather handily by 20 points over a very good Minneota team. We're about ready for the Class B championship. We'll return to the Metrodome with more in just a moment.